What's going on, everybody? Joshua Cook back for another edition of the Coach's Corner with the esteemed Sean McDowell of Foster High School and James Williams of Fort Bend Marshall. Dennis Silva II not joining us this week. We hope everything is going good with him this week as he takes some kind of week off. But don't worry, guys. I've got his picks. He mailed them in officially in a sealed envelope, so I don't even know what the picks are. It's sealed. It's completely sealed. Texas High School football playoffs continue to roll on. Last week was across the state was an absolute wild week. 6 defending state champions go down in a single week. Absolute madness has broken out in Texas High School football. Is it kind of? I mean, I know it's not fun for those coaches, but from a fan's point of view, it's got to be fun. Like just watching the parody of Texas. I mean, the parody of Texas High School football is so much fun because you never know week in and week out who's going to get knocked down or knocked out. And last week we saw 6 defending state champions go down in one single week.
Yeah, and that is great about high school football in Texas. You just never know. It's so many great teams, so many great players, so many great coaches and programs. I mean, it is the full gambit. A lot of people know I'm not from Texas. I'm from Chicago, and grew up in Chicago, but came here, and I coached 1 year of high school football in Illinois and 1 year in Michigan. And then came here, and I mean, it's just there's no comparison. I mean, this is it's as good as it gets. The programs and the quality of football here is unmatched. And like I said, these playoffs are exciting. For a lot of people. I'm trying to get over our loss still. I'm still dealing with that. But hey, you can be ranked number 2 in the state the entire year, and then you go out in the first round. That's unfortunate, but it's a great thing for the parity of football and the quality of football, because at any moment, any time, anybody can be anybody, especially now in the quarterfinals of regional quarterfinals across the state. I mean, there's going to be very few favorites out there. At any point, anybody can be anybody, and that's the fun of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, having the old adage, like any given Sunday, it's really any given Friday night or any given Saturday as well. I mean, I think there's programs out there. Everybody's kind of doing the same type of thing or should be doing the same type of thing. So it comes down to who's doing it better. Who makes the least mistakes, who gets the luckiest, because that's a real thing. So sometimes teams show up just because of who they are, think they're just going to win. We've been the victim of that, I think, a little bit, and people kind of hit you in the mouth and you don't know how to respond to it. Or you think you know how to respond until it actually you bloody your lip a little bit, and you're like, uh-oh, So I think the big thing is it's great for Texas high school football. It really is. I mean, it's great for those guys to pull up an upset win. I mean, it goes to show you that really you still got to play the game. You still got to play the game. And as much as we want to procrastinate or prognosticate or whatever it is, pick. You still got to play the game, and so I'm really fired up about that.
Yeah, because I think in more media we talk about the term trap game. There's a trap game for every season. There's a trap game in the playoffs. Do y'all as coaches, do y'all talk about trap games? Like, hey, like the whole looking ahead, like for instance, not saying it's going to happen this week, but Katie's playing Summer Creek. Their next opponent most likely is Austin Westlake, and that's the game we've all been talking about, Katie and Austin Westlake. Did maybe Summer Creek be a trap game for Katie if they are looking ahead to Austin Westlake? Do y'all talk about that to your guys, and also how do you avoid that from happening?
We take every week for what it is. We try not to look ahead. It's very, very hard, especially with social media and people looking ahead. In the regular season, it's 1-0. It has to be 1-0 each week. It has to just be that week. You can try to forecast a little bit and foreshadow what's going to happen. But man, if a trap game to me is not the 4th round of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like a trap game to me would be like a team that you might have beat 79-7 the year before, and then how your guys come out and perform the next week. So. It's kind of like one of those deals. I don't necessarily think that Katy Summer Creek is a trap game. I know what you're trying to say, but I think I think you got to approach every week like a business week, especially at this point in the season. These guys deserve to be here too. They play really good ball. So I think if you want to look ahead to next week, you could be putting up helmets and shoulder pads if you do that at this point. So I hope they're not doing it. So I don't. We do talk about trap game, but we taking each game as serious and as businesslike, no matter who we're playing. Bottom line. It's hard to change the mentality of kids and social media and stuff like that, but yeah, every week is important.
Yeah, I second that. I tell my team all the time, if you don't take care of today, there will be no tomorrow. So, don't worry about that stuff. If we take care of our business and do what we're supposed to be, then we'll have plenty of time to talk about that and focus on and look at that next opponent. But we'll never get there if we don't take care of today and take care of this first opponent. And like Sean says, great put. In the fourth round, there are no games like that. But you got to take care of business. Everybody's good. Everybody can beat you. So there really isn't a trap game at this point in time. Every game's a trap game. If you don't take care of that 1 week at a time mentality and 1 day at a time mentality, you're never going to make it there. So I think in the playoffs, it's not as much that situation because of that focus and how the coaches are good. If you're in the fourth round of the playoffs right now, if you're in your regional finals or the state quarterfinals, then that's a quality program. That's a great coach, and they're focused on the right thing. You don't get this far by mistake. You don't get this far on accident. You get this far by earning and having the right attitude and focusing your program. And at this point in time, I think everybody understands that.
And, we talk about a lot in this show, we talked about a lot about wins and losses and things like that. But I was talking to one coach earlier today, is actually David Rathfield of Bridgeland. And he was talking about how he's really enjoying the experiences right now. He's taking in all these little experiences, like holding up another gold ball and getting to take a picture with his team and stuff like that. As coaches, during a season, I know it can get muddled with the scheduling and practice and this like that. Do you take time to reflect on just those little moments, those little special moments you either have with the player or with your team, and the ones you're going to remember 5, 10, 15 years down the road?
Not so much right now as you go through it. I've told people all the time, the really days that I allow myself to enjoy are the night of a game when you win. Hopefully you win, and maybe that next morning, and then after that you're moving forward. So that part is fun. You're hugging everybody, and you're enjoying it. It's a great. The locker room, the field house is when you get back after the game, the field house is going crazy, and everybody's happy and enjoying it because you worked hard. So you do need to enjoy parts of it. But at once you get to the next day, though, and you get that next video and you got to start, looking at the next opponent, that's got to go away. You got to focus and grind for the next opponent and the next win. So, yes, you enjoy it just a little bit. You let yourself have that, I don't even want to say 24 hours. You let yourself have about 12 to 16 hours, and then you got to move on and get ready for the next opponent. And then after the season's over, once you are done with everything, now you can sit back and say, okay, man, we did this. Man, we did that. Really enjoyed that. And that's when you really can enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, I agree exactly what James said. As you're going through it, I didn't really remember it all times. Like, hey, we expected to win a gold ball. We took pictures. We just did the same thing we did each and every week, whether it was the first round, second round, fifth round. And I've never been to the state championship really, really close. James has. But you don't reflect until the end. I think you enjoy the experience. Like, man, I really enjoyed that first round win. You might be in the third round and say, man, we really had a great time that first round win. Like, I remember going to Alamo Stadium, or the Alamo Dome, and we beat Dripping Springs in the regional final. And then the cheerleaders and the whole football team went to Bill Miller's after and sold that whole place out and ate dinner together. You don't think about it at the time, but like when it's over on the bus ride home, you're like, man, that was pretty cool. That was a great experience for the kids. Now let's go kick that butt next week so we can continue this. You know what I'm saying? And motivate you. But I don't think you really reflect. I think you have fun. Like at this point, the coaches and the kids are having fun, right? And it's serious. You're that close to like achieving the goal that you had, right? And you can almost smell it. You can taste it, right? So you're having fun. So you're holding up that gold ball and everybody's laughing and having a good time and going back to work, and they're excited to come to practice now because there's an end in sight, but something good could happen. So you really get really motivated. But I didn't really reflect on things until it was completely over. I wouldn't have changed it for the world, other than winning a state championship. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No regrets, just reflections is how I live my life. So,
there's nothing like playing with, there's only 7 other teams in the state fraction with you, and playing with you. So, and your crowds are getting bigger because there's less teams playing around you and less games going on around you. And there's nothing like that, knowing that you're counting down and you're getting to 8, you're getting to 4, you're getting to 2. That's incredible.
The thing that I love about Coach McDowell's story is the Bill Miller's barbecue thing. I just wish I could see the faces of the people back in the kitchen when your offensive and defensive linemen walked in, and the fear that went into their eyes as they walked in. Right? Do you have to, when you take a football team to a restaurant, do you have to give like a warning shot, like a heads up, like, hey, by the way, I'm bringing some football players, there are linemen involved, you're going to need extra food?
Yeah, so the secret is, honestly, is that you have to pre-plan. So, like, I get my secretary and my director of football ops, which is me.
Right.
So, I call ahead, man. So, we wine and dine and we swindle for food because we get $5 a kid, maybe a little bit more in the playoffs. So, and we're able to, so we got, the game was at 4? So we were done about 7:30-ish, 8. So I called ahead and said, hey, we'll be there at 8. I need $6 to $7 a kid. And so they had everything prepackaged and ready for us. So we all kind of just, whether you were a cheerleader or a 300-pound offensive lineman, you got the same thing. Now, what happens on that exchange of meals, that's not my problem. I just know they got the same thing. But what we ate, and I don't remember exactly, probably a chicken sandwich or something like that, but the experience of having 100 people, coaches, cheerleading coaches, and players sit in that restaurant and eat together in family style, going on to the state semis, that's a pretty cool experience that people still talk about today, even though that was in 2016, and that's really what it's all about. Other than, chasing jewelry, because that's what I really would like, So.
Got that right.
There's always these funny stories that we enjoy the most about all the behind the scenes stuff. People just think, oh, they're just coaching football. No, he's calling the barbecue place, getting the plates ready to go. Like, there's so much that goes into this when you get into the playoffs. I know we've talked about this before on the show. We talked about recruiting. We talked about coaches. I mean, the last 24 or 48 hours of college coaching moves has been like the Wild Wild West. You've got Lincoln Riley going from Oklahoma to USC. Brian Kelly is going from Notre Dame to LSU. Napier is going from UL to Florida. I mean, it's like musical chairs right now in college football. Does this just once again hit home the whole deal of when you are going to go get recruited by somebody? I know the coach is an important part. You want to have a good relationship with them, but you really have to like where you're going, the school, the town, the community. I feel like right now this is kind of a good time to reiterate that point with all this coaching moves that are going on around the country.
Yeah. I know we said on this thing that you really got to commit to the school, not the coach, right? Because where do you see yourself from? Like, I tell my guys, when football season's over and what happens now? Do you see yourself at that campus? Are you going to go to basketball games? Are you going to hang out? I mean, where do you see yourself? Because really it's about it's going to be where you're from. Coast Guard Academy, wherever, Texas A&M, that's what you identify with. But the harsh reality of it all is that coach recruited them to come to that school. So they really got to love both of them. That's the ultimate truth. The game is about relationships. All right? No doubt about it. However, it's also the ugly side of it is that we are all pawns in that game, right? The rules of the game is that it's a business. You know what I'm saying? And that coaches make their livelihood, and that is a crazy amount of money that's being thrown around for those coaches. I mean, look at Lincoln Riley's contract. I'm not mad at him. Hell, I'd be singing "Fight On, Trojans" right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, fight on, whatever. I mean, golly. I mean, that's the best thing for him and his family. It's pure capitalism, man. And I am not mad at him. And I have a kid at OU, right? Cody Jackson, I feel for him, but it is the business. It is the ugly side of it. And that's why the transfer portal is there, and that's why the NLI is there now to kind of even the score a little bit. It just sucks, man. But at the end of the day, you do have to commit to that school. You do have to see yourself from there. But it's kind of one of those deals, man. Coaches and kids move on, and it's just an ugly part of it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's one of those decisions you tell your players all the time that they have to make the best decision for themselves and their family and their future. Do they have the major you want? Is it the campus you want to be a part of? Do they have the things you want there that's going to make you happy for the next 4 or 5 years? At the end of the day, the chances are the coach that recruits you is not going to be there when you graduate. I'm talking about position coaches. It could be head coach, it could be position coaches, but the position coaches move around more than the head coaches do. So, chances are the people you build that relationship with going in will not be the same people you graduate with. But it is a business. It is a multi-million dollar business. And it's just part of it. They're part of the business. Once you say, I literally told one of my players today, I have 2 of my players that are committed to Louisiana. And we know that Napier just left to go to Florida. And so that, hey, you got to get to know the new coach and new staff, but you're committed, you have your scholarship, but understand that the people you recruit you may not be there any longer. So, you have to do what's best for yourself, whether you want to think about decommitting and going someplace else or sticking it there and going to Louisiana because that's the best place for you. That's just the part of the system and what it is. Yeah, I do like the fact, I'm really not a fan of the portal. I really don't, because I feel it's like free agency, and I feel like it's an easy way out for kids to really go instead of competing. But coaches leave all the time. Now players can leave all the time. So like Sean said, it does kind of even the playing field up. Teammates you were around when you got recruited with that same class, a lot of them probably won't be there when you graduate, or half of them won't be there when you graduate. But again, as long as you're doing what you feel is best for yourself, for your family, and your future, your career, then that's the decision you have to make. You all your life been told to you want to be a part of a team, and you make a decision that's best for the team. But it's a situation where your team is your family, your team is yourself, and do what's best for yourself moving forward. And again, if the coach is still there and the coach you like, the relationship you build with them, and that's a great thing. But just a lot of times it won't end up that way.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a crazy business. I mean, Lincoln Riley if you saw the video, he's getting off the plane, whatever it was, and he's got like 3 or 4 of his coaches with him, all in USC gear. Right, like it's that fast, and instantly overnight, they're not recruiting for Oklahoma anymore. They're recruiting for USC, and they changed their game plan and all this stuff. And
you just think, sorry to cut you off, but you just think 3 days ago, last weekend, they were all together fighting, playing against Oklahoma State, the same uniform, same everything, singing the same school song. And all of a sudden now, within literally 2-3 days, they're gone. That's it. No bowl game or whatever. It's just, that's it. It's unfortunate, but it's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the transfer portal too. Lincoln Riley makes his announcement, then instantly the next day, I mean, you've got Spencer Rattler gets into the transfer portal, and then another guy gets in the transfer portal. This guy decommits. This guy decommits. It's just a crazy. Twitter is a little bit crazy right now. So you just want to have some entertainment and just scroll for a while.
I think too, the ugly reminder that sometimes loyalty is a one-way street. Does that make sense? Like at the end of the day, you have to be loyal to what you believe in. Like Coach said, your family, like what's best for you, right? Because there ain't a team yet. I'm just committed. I can decommit anytime. But the rules and pawns of the game, man, we're all pawns in this game. So just find out which one, how we're going to maneuver is. Pretty exciting stuff. Pretty exciting. It ain't over yet either. It ain't over.
No, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, even, Texas Tech, we thought Sonny Cumbie was going to be the offensive coordinator. All of a sudden now he's now the new head coach at Louisiana Tech, and now Texas Tech needs a new offensive coordinator.
Exactly.
Just like SMU. I mean, Sonny Dykes goes literally down the road to TCU. I guess he got in the helicopter and just flew over there. So it's wild. It's wild, man. I mean, these kids, I feel for them. I was never a highly recruited player. I'll just be honest. I had no offers, didn't play athletics. But I couldn't imagine being an 18-year-old kid trying to make this decision with so many moving parts and so many different voices. And Is that another part of it too? Like, do you all give advice on just having the right voices that they're listening to, or how do you approach that part? Because I know, how much advice do you try to give to a recruit or an athlete?
It's recruiting is a little bit different these days because than it was really 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because it seems like more and more with social media and with personal trainers out there, and you got 7-on-7 coaches out there. A lot of kids have an inner circle that they didn't have before. They have their family or their people who are close to them who are trying to help them and guide them and get in that situation. So it's not as close as it used to be. Again, when I was meeting with my players earlier today, I said, hey, I'm here to help you in any way I can. Any questions, anything you need, any advice, I'm definitely here, and I'll do anything I can to help you and guide you and give you what I feel is good advice. But there's so much involved in the recruiting process right now, and unfortunately, you have college coaches that go to 7-on-7 coaches now and talk about a kid as opposed to going through the head coach. We talk about in Texas streamlining recruiting and going through the head coach, and like it used to be. Now you got other avenues where people going to other places to recruit kids and trying to get relationships with not only a kid but build a relationship with his personal trainer, a relationship with other people in his life, as opposed to focusing on the head coach and the high school coaches. But you try to be there as much as you can for them and give as much positive advice you can. Again, and like I said, I'm available. I'm available if you ever want to talk. I'm available if you need advice. We'll meet as a family. I'll come over. We'll talk and help you with any questions you may have, and try to guide them through the process. But like I said, it's a different process. It's evolving. Social media is making it evolve as well. But again, we're just got to be here for them and try to help them best we can.
Yeah, I do the same thing James does. I try to just check in with them personally, like what's going on, try to give them deadlines, dates, where are you, who's contacting you. I try to become part of that inner circle. So it might be crowded in that inner circle, right? And then I'm gonna throw some bows and be like, hey, try to jockey my position. But at the end of the day, like I've said this before, the huddle video that they get from us is free, right? The transcript that they get from me is free. So my advice is free. I'm not charging them. Now, I will hand them a hefty invoice if that means that they're going to take my advice, because sometimes they feel like if they pay, that means they have better opinion than mine.
Right.
I'm in it for the right reasons because it's part of my gig, it's part of my job, right? So, to be honest with you, I just want what's best for the kids. So I don't get caught up in too much jockeying the position, but at the end of the day, we're going to sit down in my office and we're going to hash things out and we're going to figure this out because we're going to, I want what's best for the child, the player, and I'm going to try to be in contact with the parents as well. Because when we have that signing party, I'm not going to be surprised, and so we're going to do it right because I want that school to come back because if they do it right, that means they've contacted me. I know what's going on, the relationship with the kid. So it's just part of the game. You just got to deal with it and just try to find out, make sure that you do right by the young man or lady or whoever you're helping get recruited.
Gotcha. Hey, by the way, Sean, did Notre Dame call yet? I'm sure they're going to get a call soon.
I did get a call from my agent, but I'm going to take that after this.
Okay, there you go. Talk to me, brother. Yeah. Talk to me.
Yeah, they like the name McDowell for some reason. I don't know why. But
right.
He's already got kind of on anyways. It kind of works. He got the gold in it.
I do look good in green, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it's recruiting is such a crazy game and stuff like that. But my advice to high school kids is your high school coaches, your position coaches, your head coaches, they're literally there every single day to talk to. They will talk to you. They will help you. They will advise you. Go through your high school coach. College coaches, all these new college coaches, go through the high school coach. They know these kids are around them every single day. Go through the high school coach. Straight Line Recruiting, Texas High School Coaches Association has highly recommended this. That's the way it is. Call a high school coach. You can get their cell phone numbers. You get their emails. Look at it right here. Sean McDowell, James Williams. They will get on a Zoom with you, too, and talk to you for a long time because we do it every week. Right. So that's my little pitch right there.
Absolutely.
High school coaches, go through the high school coaches.
And I know James can verify this, too. It's like once we get a relationship with the coach in that school, man, we're not just talking about our kids too. They'll ask, hey, who'd you play this year? Who do you know in the area that's really good? Yeah. And James and I are fortunate enough to be around a lot of good teams and coaches and kids and have our eyes on a lot of good kids. So, man, we're in the business of football. If I think that running back over at Marshall or that quarterback at Marshall is good, man, I'm going to pitch him. And not because James is my boy, because if I know there's a DB at Clear Springs or whatever, hey, coach, you might want to check that guy out. Yeah. That dude looks like he's a dude. I've heard some really good things about him. I mean, it's all a big network. We're all in the same game, Absolutely. And we want to help those guys and help kids at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Well, perfect. All right. Well, we'll get to America's favorite segment now. We've talked enough about recruiting and all this stuff. We got to get to the serious stuff now. Serious stuff. Last week was a big week on the show. Coach James Williams and Coach McDowell made some moves. They were jockeying. Coach Williams goes 3-2 last week. He is 12-3 on the year. Coach McDowell goes 2-3. He falls to 10-5 on the year. It's a 2-game lead for Coach James Williams as he is making a comeback here in the playoffs. Then Dennis Silva, the second, 2-3 last week, 9-6 on the year. And I did it again, guys. I did it again. I go 1-4. I'm 8-7 on the year. We'll come in last place again.
Wow.
I'm not good at this game thing. I'm better at hosting shows than picking games.
Hey, even a broken clock is right twice a day. You know what I'm saying?
I'll hit one of these days. Yeah. All right, big games this week. We'll start top to bottom. First one, North Shore takes on Atascocita in that rematch of District 21 6A championship from earlier this season. Who wins this one?
I'll lead off if you don't mind. And what a great game. I'm probably try to get to that game if I can Friday. We'll see. But rematch from early in the year. North Shore won early in the year. Two great teams. Last week, a lot of great college football players are going to be on that field on Friday night. I think my defensive scheme theme has been working for a while, and North Shore had a close game last week. They played a good Katie Tompkins team that they only won by 6, but they're playing better defense, and I think it's going to come down to the freshman quarterback, come down to their offense, and can they score points? Atascocita has a lot of good skilled players on offense, a good quarterback. I think they can be neutralized, though, with North Shore's defense. If they come to play, I think North Shore can hold them down again and score enough points to win. So I'm going to go with North Shore with this one.
I agree. Last week during Thanksgiving holiday, I was able to go visit North Shore. So I'm a super biased pick. Not that I didn't want to go visit Atascocita, but that's a little bit farther from me on this west side. So I'm going with the John K. North Shore Mustangs all day on this one. What I saw, I saw really some highly motivated kids. I know Atascocita is playing really well, but I got a really hard time to pick against the North Shore Mustangs. So I feel like they're getting better and better each week. I know that they're up and down a little bit, but I think they're trending up. So I'm going to go with the North Shore Mustangs as well.
So Dennis Silva sent in his picks this week. He goes with North Shore as well. He didn't give me any breakdown. He just gave me the name. So he's being very secretive about his picks this week. I'm going to go North Shore as well. I think the defense is really good. I think the offense, like you said, it's coming along. Caleb Bailey at quarterback, he's starting to evolve. I mean, as a freshman quarterback, he's making those steps. He's taking those steps. You have to remember, Caleb Bailey's first start of the year was against the Atascocita in the district championship game. That was his first start. He had been in games. He had played in games. Right. That was his first start. And he stood, and that was a great atmosphere. I mean, if you wanted a playoff atmosphere, that was it. Played in it. They played well. North Shore has to clean up some things in the second half. They did not play well in the second half last week. They gave up 20 points, only scored 6. That's where they got to fix some things. Right. But they can bottle up the first half against Tompkins. They're going to be fine. I think it's a close one, but I go North Shore Mustangs in this one.
Yes, sir.
Next one is Katy versus Summer Creek. A couple of us took C. King last week. That pick did not work out, so we'll see how the pendulum swings this week.
I think it would have been a different game if their running back from C. King wouldn't have got hurt, because I know they made a game of it late. I know Katy did some really great things. I'm going to go ahead and flip the script on this one. I'm going Katy Tigers. I'm going to pick for the Katy Tigers. I think that it's going to be tough to beat. I think Summer Creek kind of plays into their hands a little bit, what they're used to playing against defensively. Summer Creek is a very, very good football team, well coached. I think Kenny Harrison doing a great job. It's been his best year there. But the Katy Tigers are just on a different level right now, and so I'm going with Katy.
Yeah, I'll go with that as well, Sean. I'll go with Katy. Like I said last week, I'm gonna pick Katy until somebody beats them. That program is so solid and such a machine that they do well from week in and week out game planning and neutralizing other opponents. I picked them last week versus C.D. King, and they get out of that one. But like you did say, C.D. King made a game of it, and probably could have been different if their running back was healthy. But they'll find a way to get it done again this week. I love Kenny Harrison having his best year so far at Summer Creek, and they worked really, really hard. They score a lot of points. They've been scoring a lot of points this football season. But like I said, that kind of goes in Katy's hands and playing a good defense over there and taking things away and taking players away. So I'll go with Katy with this.
So Dennis Soto II goes with Katy as well. So far 3 for Katy. C.D. King, they did play well. I think getting that running back hurt late in the game, and also I think C.D. King had some chances to get some turnovers, didn't cash in on them, kind of allowed Katy to do Katy things. Like we've said, Kenny Harrison has done an amazing job at Summer Creek this year to get into the state quarterfinals, first time in program history. He has a very senior-laden team. Torrey Curry, the running back, Lloyd Avant, the running back. They've been a dynamic duo. I think the problem is I think they mirror C.D. King too much. It's kind of the same team. It's run-oriented offense. Katy saw that last week. So I'm going to go with the Katy Tigers. I think they have the game plan to slow that down. And also just C.D. King or Summer Creek's defense gave up 41 points to Cinco Ranch last week. That was a little concerning on just how many points they gave up. If they can tighten down that defense, maybe Summer Creek has a chance. But I'm going to go with the Katy Tigers. I think they move on to most likely play Austin Westlake in the state semifinals next week. Next up is Katy Paetow against those Hightower Hurricanes. Rumbling through. I can't remember if Coach Williams picked for Ben Hightower last. Did he? I think he stuck with them last week. So let's see. Does he go another week riding the Hurricanes?
It's interesting, this pick. Obviously, it's a rematch from earlier in the year where Katy Paetow beat him pretty good. I want to say by almost 3 points. But, early in the year when Manville played Hightower, I picked Hightower. And Hightower obviously won that game. And the very next week, I picked Hightower to beat Paetow. And it didn't go that well. And then last week, I picked Hightower to beat Manville again, and they did as well. So does that mean this week I should pick Paetow to beat Hightower? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to change it. But you know what? Hey, Hightower's playing some great defense as well, like they did last week. They shut down a pretty good Manville offense. Hey, they played. They didn't play very well the first time they played Paetow in the regular season, and obviously it went bad. So they got to learn from that situation. I think they're going to come out better. I think they're going to come out fired up. Fourth round of the playoffs is different. And we had a similar situation, and I can say about 3 years ago, Manville beat us in the regular season, and then we played them again in the fourth round, and we were fortunate to win in the fourth round. So I think it is possible. I think it can happen. And I'm going to go ahead and stick with those Hurricanes and see if they can keep that thing going and keep playing some good defense and learn from that first game. So I'm going to go with Hightower.
I was fortunate enough to be at the Manville Hightower game. I got a chance to be and see it up close and personal. It was a physical game. It was definitely highly contested. The crowd was awesome. So hats off to both teams. Hightower made more plays, bottom line. I think that running back, Payne, he's special. He's real special.
Yeah.
However, number 25, Jacob Brown is back for the Paetow Panthers. And I was at the Cedar Park game when they played Paetow. So Paetow, Cedar Park. They scored on like the third play of the game. They didn't get Jacob Brown down very often that game. He rushed for like 236 and 4 touchdowns. There was a couple plays where they didn't get him down in any form of football, where it was one-hand touch, two-hand touch, flag, or tackle. I'm going to go with Paetow on this one. I really see Paetow losing in the state championship to College Station. I think they roll all the way. They've had a great year. They got the great brand of football to play, and teams that play in December are remembered. This is a great season for them, and I don't see these guys stopping. It's tough to beat somebody twice, and they got their hands full because Hightower's playing well. Man, Pato, they're firing all cylinders, so I'm taking the Panthers of Pato.
This is going to be a battle of the running backs, it sounds like. Sounds like it's going to be a battle of the running backs. Dennis Silva II goes with Katie Pato. That's who he's going with. First off, like you said, Jeremy Payne has been playing out of his mind the last 3 weeks. Over 200 yards the last 3 weeks, 600 yards in 3 games in the playoffs. I mean, they might as well just, on the back of his jersey, just instead of Payne, it needs to be the Payne train. I'm saying. We can bring back maybe some XFL jerseys, the Payne train on the back of the jersey. That'd be pretty glorious.
Love it.
Unfortunately, I think the Payne train might be coming to its final stop of the year. Katie Pato will roll on. I really like the Panthers. I think this is a motivated football team. Last year, they were in the playoffs. They got their first playoff win, then got knocked out by COVID. So they didn't really get a chance to show the state who they were. I think that's kind of the mission. I think they not only are playing for this year's team, I think they're playing for those seniors from last year that didn't get that chance to make that deep run in the playoffs. So I'm going Pato Panthers. I agree with Coach McDowell. I think they're bound for AT&T Stadium. I think they're going to get there. I think they're going to play for that state championship on Friday night, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
And then we're going to have a parade for them. We're going to have a parade for them, win or lose, because then they'll be off to 6A, and I'm going to lead that parade. Them and Hightower. Peace. Yeah. No, 5A Division I just got a whole lot better when they left.
All right, the next one is the Crosby Cougars are back in the state quarterfinals again after last year making all the state championship games. They get Texas High this week, which is going to be maybe their toughest challenge since early in the season when they took on Carthage and Manville and all that run. Talk about this one. The Crosby Cougars' Code Red roll on in the playoffs.
Ooh, that's a tough one. So I've seen them both play. I saw Texas High play Fulsher, and Fulsher hung around for a little bit. But man, that running back at Texas High, he's a dude. I don't even know his name, but he can play for me anytime. I think he's a senior, but he's definitely a D1 guy. They're big up front. But so is Crosby. I think Crosby's playing well. It's tough, but man, if I had to pick, and which I do, so I'm going to pick the Crosby Cougars H-Town all the way. So that I default to Code Red, so sorry, Texas High, but they're a good football team, obviously in the 4th round, but I can't bet against the Crosby Cougars, so I'm going with them.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Crosby as well. And tell you what, they seem to pull it out. They've had so many close games, and they, last week winning 53-50. It's like they're going to keep scoring. They're going to keep going, and they seem to find a way to win. So I think it's going to be another good game. I saw Texas High play last week on Texas Live. I was watching it online, and they're very athletic. They're doing a good job. And last year they did a good job as well. I'm going to go Crosby. I'm going to go Houston again. And like I said, Coach, they found a way to get it done and get back to the semifinals.
So Dennis Silva II, his pick, he goes with the Crosby Cougars as well. Crosby, offensively, Kyron Miles is unbelievable at quarterback. Just his running ability, throwing ability, just game-changing ability. Cameron Kirkwood on both sides of the ball leads the team in receiving, leads the team in interceptions on the other side. You mentioned the running back from Texas High. That's really good. He's going to go play at the next level. But he has not met yet, as deemed by VYPE, the new defensive duo known as the MC Hammers for Crosby. That article is on VYPE.com, by the way. You got to go check it out. The MC Hammers, McCoy Casey and Tyler Cooper, the 2 DNs for Crosby. Guys, they've combined for 240 tackles and 29 sacks this season. Good luck to Texas High running against that. McCoy Casey and Tyler Cooper, the MC Hammers, get the job done. Crosby, moves on. I was very proud of that nickname I figured out earlier today. I think it'll, in the realms of history, it will stand up with like the wrecking crew of Texas A&M and so on and so forth.
All right. Yes, sir.
All right, so the Tomball Bridgeland game is the last one. How about that one for a doozy on a Saturday afternoon? Tomball Cougars led by Cale Helms and Bridgeland led by Connor Wigman trying to fight for a state semifinal spot.
All right, so is Connor Wigman going to play?
I have been told he should play. He did go down in the last game, but I have been told he should play on Saturday.
Well, I don't know what the injury is, but, man, the Tomball Cougars are playing well. They're big up front defensively. I love that quarterback, man. He's a dude. Is he going to West Point or something like that? You know, I mean, hats off to that. And so, man, I'll tell you what, I think Tomball's playing a physical brand of football. Not saying that Bridgeland isn't, but I don't know the status of my man Connor Wigman because I'm a fan. But I know that if he's not there, they're going to not take it away from all the other kids, but he's a difference maker. So I'm going to go with Tomball Cougars on this one.
All right, Sean. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. But I'm going to go against that one. I'm going to go with Bridgeland. I'm going to go with Connor. Like I said, he's healthy. He's tough to beat. I think this is going to be a good game. I think it might be a high-scoring game because both of my offenses can really light up the scoreboard. I think Bridgeland is going to take this game. A lot of respect for Tomball and what they're doing and getting this far. But I think Connor. We know how special that young man is, and if he's healthy enough to play and he gets out there, I think they're going to score a lot. So I'll give this to Bridgeland.
Dennis Hill, the second win with Tomball, too. Bridgeland did show us a lot last week as, Connor went down early in that game. They still got out of it with their backup quarterback. So it shows a lot about that team to overcome that adversity and stuff. Tomball, on the other hand, I think a lot of people, and even me, I had Tomball ridden off in the first round when they took on Cy Park. I thought Harold Perkins was going to be too much for him, and they came out and they, put it lightly, they punched Cy Park square in the mouth and just kept punching. This is a Tomball team. Like, if you don't know who the Roten brothers are, Landon and Luke Roten, those big linemen, that's like running behind an 18-wheeler. Just saying. Those dudes can block people and just destroy people on both sides of the ball. And Cale Helms, this guy might be one of the top – no, scratch it. He is one of the top quarterbacks in the city of Houston. Over 1,700 yards passing, over 1,600 yards rushing, 33 touchdowns. I'm going with the Tomball Cougars. I think Cale Helms is his running ability, the game-breaking speed he's got, his ability just to kind of get into open spaces. I think I'm going to go Tomball. I think they're riding a high right now. I think that high started back when they beat Cy Park. And I think a lot of people wrote them off in that first round against Cy Park. And they've been playing underdog all the way through. So I'm going Tomball to the state semifinals. Whew.
Yeah.
I like it.
I can be cavalier with my picks now. I'm in last place. I'm just saying.
Hey, this is the second game where it's 3 against 1, so we're going to see. I'm going to get way ahead right now. Y'all catch up real quick. So,
hey, become great, man. Shoot your shot, man. Just keep shooting.
Right.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week. It's dwindling down the number of games. That just means we're getting closer and closer to the state watch-alongs, potentially, with Coach McDowell and Coach Williams coming up. I mean, that was must-see TV last year. So we are getting down to it. And, I mean, Coach Williams, he's going to go get his haircut. He's even going to go get a haircut for this one, too. He's ready to go.
I'm ready. If we can't play in the game, the best thing to do is be on live with you guys. We'll do it.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
At this time, we'll bring and some Shirley Temples.
Yeah. Party time.
That's it.
If there's Shirley Temples involved, man, I might have to just reschedule my trip to Dallas then. I don't know.
Everybody's Googling Shirley Temples right now. Like, what are we talking?
Right. The drink of champions. Let's go.
That's right.
Hey, what Shirley Temples and go get a stack from IHOP, right? Flapjack.
Whatever we got to do.
Let's get it.
All right, we are back every single Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Coach's Corner. Thanks, Coach Williams, Coach McDowell. Appreciate the time, guys. And we will see everyone back here next week on VYPE.com.